Hello, Dr. Michael Arnon here, and my associate, Bernard the Barrister Bear. Say hello, Bear. Hello! And this video is called Your Constitution. Really? About your health? No, it's not about your health. I've misled you there somewhat. It's about the political constitution of the country. Why have I called it Your Constitution? Well, because the question is, what say you have in the running of the country as a citizen, as a law-abiding citizen? What say do you actually have? It's a democracy. Well, it's supposed to be a democracy, yes, but does that mean you actually have a say? I'm afraid not. Not really. There are elections, yes, but actually no government has ever had a majority of the votes that put it into power. It had a majority of seats in Parliament, yes, but not votes. The closest that any party ever came to getting a majority of the vote was in 1955, when the Conservatives got over 49% of the vote, and of course a comfortable majority in Parliament. And that was Sir Anthony Eden, who had to resign 2 years later over the Suez crisis. But anyhow, the party remained in power for another few years under Macmillan. But, and then Alec Douglas Hugh. But anyhow, that was the closest. 1955. Labour, the closest Labour ever got was in 1951, when they got over 48% of the vote. But strangely, they got a minority of the seats. The Conservatives got more seats, and so Labour actually lost that election, although they had more votes than the Conservatives. So that's not really how you can judge it in terms of votes. Another strange phenomenon occurred in 2015, where the Scottish National Party swept the boards in Scotland and picked up 56 seats of the 59 Scottish seats, 56 of the 59 Scottish seats in Parliament, in the UK Parliament. But actually, they only had 50% of the votes in Scotland. 50% in Scotland. But that gave them 56 of the 59 Scottish seats. How could that have happened? Well, it's all called first past the post. First past the post. Or sometimes called winner take all. It's an arithmetical thing, because in each constituency, in each voting district, therefore, whoever gets the most votes takes that seat. And usually, whoever gets the most votes does not get over 50%, because they're usually normally more than two competitors for that seat. And so whoever wins the seat normally wins it by less than 50%. And it is theoretically possible to get 49% of the vote in every single seat and still get no seats if someone else gets 51%. Well, that's never happened. But as I said, mostly it's won on the basis of a minority, or what is Americans call a plurality, in other words, a plurality. I mean, someone who gets the most votes in a particular constituency, but not over 50%. And that's the way it works. First past the post. First past the post. There are other systems of voting which are called proportional representation, and they are used in other elections, like the elections to the Scottish Parliament, the Welsh Assembly, and local elections, but not for the Westminster Parliament. So, if it's not a democracy, what is it? It's not a monarchy. It's actually an oligarchy. That means rule by the few, rule by those with money, with influence, which includes the newspaper moguls, the judges in a very big way, and of course the controllers of the economy in one way or another. But everyone has equal rights. Everyone is supposed to have equal rights. That is true, but actually, again, they don't. And the problem is that there's a very big difference, which is not fully understood by most people, between equality and equality of opportunity, or sometimes what is called equality of outcome and equality of opportunity. And what is actually on offer in this country, and in most Western countries for that matter, is not equality, but equality of opportunity, and even that is not by any means entirely satisfied. But what is equality of opportunity? Equality of opportunity means an equal opportunity to become unequal. That's what it is. Equal opportunity to become unequal. Even that doesn't really exist. One of the worst problems in this country is that government has actually been sleeping on the job for a very long time. Oh yes, if you look at the number of acts of parliament passed over the years, there's a huge number of them, vast number of acts of parliament, legislation passed by parliament, but parliament is really controlled by the government. And as I mentioned, first past the post yields up a majority of seats, which then gives power to the party which has that majority. So government controls parliament, more or less, not the other way around, usually. And there are lots of laws passed every year. Oh, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But actually, I would say the majority of laws that should be passed are not passed, because the government in this country doesn't seem to recognize its function as a law-making body in the sense of laws to be implemented by the courts. They've more or less abdicated that role, as a result of which large areas of the law are in disarray, a term not my label, but that of Lord Neuberger, former president of the UK Supreme Court, and lacking reliable principle. In disarray and lacking reliable principle. Well, that means the law is uncertain in those areas, large areas. And what happens then? What happens is there's a vacuum into which the judges then step, and they make the laws in those areas. Totally unelected judges in this country Unlike in America, for example, where many judges are elected, state judges, which I think is a much better idea. The judges here are never elected, and the whole system of how they're appointed is shrouded in mystery. Won't go into that now. But I don't blame the judges. I blame the government. In America, which is supposed to have a similar legal system to here, which is called a common law system, in every state, even a small state like Wyoming, which has the population of Birmingham or something like that, the state legislature has passed a code of laws. There's a code of laws, codified laws, code. That means the law has been turned into a system in every state of the United States, but not here. There's a little bit of codification here and there, but government has been reluctant to codify any law. And the situation is no better now. And after Brexit and all the other troubles, it's more urgent than ever. And this is one of the areas, one of the reasons why there is no democracy here, because the laws are being made, a lot of the laws are made by unelected judges. As I said, I don't blame them, but I blame the government for not stepping up to the plate and taking full responsibility. That's all for now. More next time. Bye-bye.